Vancouver is well known for its modern skyline and bustling streets that are beautifully juxtaposed against the rugged peaks of the North Shore Mountains. It's certainly a unique city, but like all cities, sometimes one needs to escape the hustle and noise in order to recharge a bit. Fortunately, there's a place where, in under an hour's travel from downtown, you can trade in the concrete towers for lofty firs, trendy eateries for hidden beaches, and nothing but the gentle sound of lapping waves to replace the blaring of car horns. This is Bowen Island. I recently spent a week exploring everything I could in this charming island community. In this video, I'll share some of my tips to enjoy a day, a week, or longer in this quiet oasis that's so close to Vancouver and yet a world apart. Thanks to its close proximity to Vancouver, Bowen Island is an easy destination for a day trip. But there's plenty to see and do if you wish to stay longer, which is something I'd highly recommend. Thanks to the proximity, it's very well connected with the city. The island is serviced by a ridiculously scenic 20-minute ferry ride from Horseshoe Bay. Service is frequent with around 15 crossings a day, a little over once per hour. Travel by car and bike are both viable options, but it's also just as easily accessible by bus. TransLink via Route 257 connects downtown with the Horseshoe Bay Terminal, with buses departing roughly every 20 minutes. The ferry is $12 round trip for an adult, or $7.25 if you have an experience card. On the other side, you'll arrive in Snug Cove, the main commercial area for the island. There are a variety of shops, restaurants, beaches, and hikes nearby, all easily accessible on foot. This provides many options to fill an exciting day trip without needing any sort of vehicle. For longer visits, or if you're planning to get outside of Snug Cove, there are a couple of options to consider. A pleasant surprise is that there's 3 TransLink operated routes on the island. Payment is the same as on the mainland, so your Compass card will work here. Buses are scheduled to match the ferry. They typically depart shortly after ferry arrival and arrive back just before departure. Being a small island, a bike is an excellent way to explore, and the option that I chose. I brought my own, but you can rent one on arrival from Bowen e-bikes. A word of warning though, Bowen is very hilly. Even with my electric assist, I was getting a thorough workout. Some may be fine to do this without electricity, and if so, you're a far better person than I am. The last option is of course to bring a car. You'll pay a bit more for the ferry, and keep in mind that there can be limited parking around Snug Cove, so it might be best suited if you'll be spending most of your time outside of that area. I spent a week rambling around, which was probably longer than the average visitor. Still, it would be unrealistic to suggest I did and saw everything there was to enjoy. Here are just a few of the things I got up to that I'd highly recommend. If there's one activity that seems to make almost everybody's to-do list, it would be the lovely walk to and around Killarney Lake. It's easily accessible on foot from Snug Cove, making it a popular day trip activity. The trail meanders through second-generation forest, meadow, and wetland. It's a mostly level path, making it a popular choice for all skill levels. Budget around 3 hours if starting from Snug Cove for the 9-kilometer round trip. The loop around the lake offers many beautiful viewpoints to enjoy. Unfortunately, it's not a place recommended for swimming on account of it being a bit swampy and home to a large population of leeches. Not to worry, there are plenty of other beaches to cool off at. I really enjoyed Kate's Bay Beach, which is a bit hidden in a residential neighborhood. It was about a 20-minute bike ride from Snug Cove. There's an abundance of driftwood, which made for a great place to sit and watch the day come to an end. There are just too many beaches to individually name, and discovering them for yourself is half the fun. I had a blast taking a slow pace on my bike and stopping frequently as I explored the back roads without any real plan. During early July, I was also pleasantly surprised by how warm the ocean was for swimming. That is toasty warm and delightful. With so many choices available, you're bound to find a relaxing place for yourself. The Waterfall Trail viewpoint was quite a gem to find. Being on the far side of the island, it's a much quieter place than the busier parks close to Snug Cove. From the road, it's a short stroll through forest and meadow to a really cool viewpoint over the water and back towards Vancouver. It's a wildlife sanctuary, so be aware that dogs aren't allowed. But this made for some fun wildlife spotting. I especially enjoyed watching the nesting eagle nearby. There's also a small creek that cascades right onto a little beach, which was quite neat to see. Dorman Point is a great little walk if you have limited time or transportation. The path basically starts where the ferry drops you off. From here, you'll climb a well-maintained trail to the first viewpoint. It's a little obscured by trees, but the path continues onto the point itself, which offers more expansive views over Howe Sound. Though there's a bit of an incline, it's a relatively short walk that should be easily accessible to people of all skill levels. Good morning, Killarney Lake. And good morning to you. I'm up super early to hike Mount Gardner. As the highest point on the island, Mount Gardner makes for a popular hiking destination that rewards with a well-deserved view for your efforts. There's a few different routes, but I started from the Killarney Lake parking lot. The trail is steep, but a beautiful climb through lush forest. With an elevation gain of 700 meters over 4 kilometers, it's going to get your heart pounding. Just a bit sweaty. But a bit of breathlessness was worthwhile for some unparalleled panoramas over the island. The top is unfortunately shared by a radio antenna that generates an annoying hum, which sort of broke the illusion of the otherwise awesome natural surroundings. That minor annoyance aside, the hike was epic, And with barely anyone else on the trail, I had plenty of quiet nature ambience to enjoy for the rest of the hike. As mentioned, I really only scratched the surface with what I got up to. There were all sorts of water sports and even a well-regarded golf course that I just ran out of time for. But it's important to remember that you don't need to jam every day full of activities. While planning can be fun, sometimes the best policy is to just keep your time open and see where the wind takes you. In fact, one of my favorite evenings involved nothing more than sitting on a covered patio at my accommodation, listening to the rain, and occasionally snacking on raspberries from the garden. I am far from the final authority on good food. Truth be told, I'm quite content just trying someplace new and not being responsible for cooking. But when it comes to sampling the local restaurants, I was delighted to have found plenty of places which left me feeling satisfied, full, and with a desire to come back for more. Right at the ferry pier is a local favorite, Tell Your Friends Cafe. I had 2 decent breakfasts here and appreciated the view, which is right in the middle of all the action. Therefore, I'm doing my duty and telling my friends to go there.
Doug?
Hey, thank you.
Welcome.
A short distance up the road from the ferry is Artisan Square, where you'll find many charming independent boutiques. A trip to Bowen wouldn't be complete without having a little poke around here. Artisan Eats Cafe is a fixture of Artisan Square. It's a French-inspired cafe with fresh baked goods, nice coffee, and some killer sandwiches. I liked this place so much that it saw me back for 3 different meals. Also in Artisan Square is Cacao West Chocolatier. As you might have guessed, they specialize in making all things chocolate, and they do a darn fine job of it. What caught my eye were their many hot chocolate options. Being a warm summer's day though, they made me an iced version that was every bit refreshing as it was delicious. Hands down, my most rewarding meal of the trip was at The Shed, the restaurant attached to the island's quaint 9-hole golf course. This was partly because Google Maps took me up the world's steepest shortcut, when even my bike declared nah, and I had to push it up and over on a 30-degree day.
This place better be fucking worth it.
This effort was well rewarded though. The location is fantastic and a great place for people watching. The house-breaded chicken sandwich was fairly priced, and it made me feel things that I did not know a chicken sandwich could make me feel. It had me wondering if I was willing to climb that stupid hill a few more times. But alas, this was near the end of my stay, so it'll live rent-free in my memory for now.
Oh, yeah.
While my trip to Bowen was filled with many tasty eats and adventures, I also made sure to embrace its number one attraction, community and relaxation. I found many moments between exploring to just be and reflect. I also had some very serendipitous chats with friendly residents and fellow visitors that reaffirmed how important human connection is for me. So to Aaron the shop owner, Colin the cyclist, and all the others, thanks for making my trip just a little bit more special. Happy travels.